I really think that it can help. It can definitely remove some blockages and welcome in new energy. You think that something was meant for you and then it wasn't. Just hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to my channel. Hello if you are new. My name is Andrea Johnson. I'm a Reiki master teacher, energy worker, psychic worker, and spiritual lifestyle content maker. Welcome to Conscious Coffee Talks. I got a microphone now, guys. I mean, I'm kind of getting legit, maybe. So in today's episode, I wanted to talk about something that hits a little bit close to home for me right now, a struggle that I've been going through and that I know a lot of other people have gone through, and that is dealing with job loss. Yes, the dreaded root chakra. What I mean by this is your security and your safety, and therefore your job lies within your root chakra, because it is our foundation that we have to build our life upon. So I know this is a common thing, and I want to go over some mindset shifts that I have had to make recently due to job loss. Not me personally, but my husband. And I want to share it with you guys because I really think that it can help. It can definitely remove some blockages and welcome in new energy, and it's just a nice perspective to have. And this is such a common thing, guys, with just everybody in today's society. It's something that I really think that everyone at least deals with one time in their life. So with that being said, let's dive in. I have learned several key points in shifting my mindset when it comes to job loss, and it really helped me. And so one of the first things that I had to shift my perspective on was that this was happening for me, and not necessarily just for me, but also for my husband. Even though that losing a job and some income and your sense of security, it can seem like it's all just a negative thing, but in the grand scheme of it, or in reality, honestly, everything is happening for your highest good. And so that's the way that I saw this, was when these things happen, when things like a job loss or something unexpected that it just like, maybe you didn't get that job, or maybe you lost your job, or maybe like you didn't get the house that you wanted when you put down an offer, things of that nature. It's honestly just steering you in the correct direction. So it's really just things falling away that aren't for your greatest good. And even in the moment, it can just seem like very devastating. It can seem like things are happening to you. You can get that victim mindset. It will totally just create blockages if you create that victim mindset. So do not do that. But it's more so to prevent that. You have to see it as opportunities happening for you. Things are happening for you. So when things fall away in your life, you have to understand that God takes away things that are no longer meant for you, meaning you're outgrowing them. Your vibration is changing, meaning you're moving on to the next chapter per se. And that part of your life is no longer serving you, and it's no longer in your story. It's no longer in your movie per se, whatever you want to call it. So even though if nothing else better seems to be coming in at the moment, you have to almost have this unfuckable faith, pretty much this just die-hard faith that it's going to happen, that you're going to get, you know, something better is going to come in per se. And that's exactly what will happen. You have to really see it as obstacles in the correct direction and happening for your highest good, because honestly, that is what is happening. And even though it wasn't ideal, I mean, shoot, I remember my husband called me and was like, hey, I just got let go of my job. I almost like just was taken back by it so much. All these things were running through my head of what are we going to do? What are we going to do, like for the house payment? What are we going to do financially? You know, things of that nature. And it was almost just like this wave of fear just overtook me, and it was almost like a disbelief, because when these things happen, they almost like knock you out of like your reality almost, because you just don't expect these things. They're not part of your routine. It's like when things like this happen, it's almost the same thing as like when you try something new, it almost shifts your reality because you're doing something different, out of the normal, right? So things feel different. And this was kind of similar to that, but almost like a numbing feeling at the same time. So I was in like complete shock. And so it's one of those things of where instead of freaking out, instead of like cursing God, instead of just like, you know, seeing it as something that this is doom and gloom and devastating, I really had to change my perspective and just be like, okay, you know, I had to weigh out the pros and the cons. One, his current job his job that he did have was very toxic. It was very stressful. He was very stressed out. And he was always working. So now that this was gone, now all this new energy was able to come into his field and even to my field, because whenever your partner is feeling down and depressive or they're going through stress, you also feel that as well too. So I had to see it as like a new energetic shift, a new energy coming into our home. And even though like I was still scared and fearful of, you know, what are we going to do? I knew ultimately that it was for his greatest good and also mine, because now that all this stress and all this anxiety and all this fear was now gone around this toxic job and around all those people that were creating all this stress. They were now gone from his reality. Now we were actually able to bring in new energy into his field and more of a positive, relaxed, just a better mindset. And that totally shifted the dynamic of our home. I don't really, and I can't really explain it, guys, but as soon as that happened, my reality shifted. There were things that I was wanting to do and make advances in my business that I just wasn't, and then this almost like pushed me to do it. I don't know why, but there was just an influx of positive energy. And don't get me wrong, I was still scared, guys, but it's like deep down in your heart, you know that this is for your greatest good and their greatest good. And even though like nothing had come in yet to where we could find him another job, and it was still very fearful, there's almost this like undeniable trust that you have. And I just remember I was like praying, I was meditating, I did all the things, guys. I even did little burning rituals for manifesting him a new job, you know, little ceremonies, stuff like that. And every time I went back to that place, I'm like, God, what do I need to do? What do I need to do? And the message that kept coming through, which in my heart's center, it was like, you don't need to do anything. It's just sit back and just trust me. And that literally, like, I almost want to cry just thinking about it, because that's the direct message that I got. And God was just like, I've got you, trust me. I am bringing in something better for you and your husband, and it will shift the dynamic of your home. It's going to set you on the path to your highest good and the path that you are wanting to envision for your life. And I'm like, it was frustrating, but at the same time, it was very comforting, because we want to do all the things, right? We want to just like apply to all the jobs. We want to just like reach out to all the connections. We want to do all this stuff. And don't get me wrong, guys, I really think like taking action, you meet the universe halfway, and that's part of it, because you really do have to make moves. But at the same time, you need to listen to your heart and you need to trust. And when you do that, you know the actions that you do take, they're in alignment with what is meant for you. And that is God speaking to you, coming through you. You know, something of a higher power is driving you to do these things, and you just know deep down that it is correct for you. So this comes to like my next part of this is, you know, eventually he did get a job offer. He ended up declining it. And that was huge. That was so freaking huge. And I think that this is part of it too, guys. And this is where the trust has to come in, is he got a job offer and it didn't feel right. And this was the only job offer that he had gotten. And this is, 2 months down the road. We've not had an income on his side. And so it's very tempting to want to take, the first thing that lands in your lap. And he just didn't feel good about it. And honestly, I didn't either. And this is where I knew that a karmic cycle would repeat itself. And the same thing would end up happening had he had taken this other job, of just like having the same miserable energy coming back in. And he pretty much was just doing it just to, make ends meet. And it's just not right. It wasn't in alignment with him. And I could feel that in his soul, and so could he. We both had this underlying feeling, and it's like, what do you do? Like, do you do what you feel like you have to do, or do you trust? And you trust that honestly there's something better. And he declined it, and something better ended up coming along, and something that I'm still pretty kind of scared about, but more so of something that's more in alignment with his passions and what he likes to do. And it's one of those things of like, wow, this really, I think, would work out in the long run, because if he is happier and, more fulfilled in his career and his job, then that just like that energy transfers over into the home and then into me as well too. So we kind of feed off of one another on this. But point being is, you have to trust. You have to listen to that center point. It's almost like this like inner voice in your chest, and it was saying to us both that it just wasn't the right decision. And even though all logic was pointing to just take the job, inwards it just wasn't right. So this is where you really, really have to trust and surrender to that inner knowing, that gut feeling. And a lot of people, especially when your survival is threatened, we really override that, because it's almost impossible to listen to that. And you just have to let go and trust and surrender and honestly make the decision, and don't look back upon it. Don't think of like, oh, I should have done this or that. You make it, and the decision that you made was the correct one, and you move forward with it, and you just move with spirit, right? So that's kind of my outlook on it. And honestly, like, we're still going through the thick of it, but there's something so very comfortable. There's something so very comforting just knowing that we feel like our greatest good is being watched after. You feel like the path that you're on is meant for you, and that you're divinely guided. And honestly, you just understand that when things fall out of your life, and it doesn't even have to be a job, you just be people or, situations, things like that. When things leave your life, it was for a reason, and it's for your highest good. So don't dwell on it. Don't try to question it, and just move with it. Honestly, if you're confused by it, or if you think that something was meant for you and then it wasn't, just lean into, asking spirit of, what can I learn from this situation? What do I need to learn from this? What can I gain from my evolution from this situation? Because that's honestly what it is. And really, our conscious mind likes to predict the outcomes of everything. And we don't understand that there is a higher power at play, and that truly has our greatest good in mind. And we don't fully understand the things that happen in the present, but later on they make sense. You kind of look back at it and you're like, holy shit, like, thank goodness that happened. You know what I mean? But if you don't understand that in the moment, if you keep dwelling on the negative, if you keep that victim mindset, that's going to keep you stuck, and you're not going to see the blessing that is unfolding for you. So that has been my mindset. That has been what I've seen unfold, and just honestly trusting. And this has very much tested me, guys, because my root chakra is honestly the one that I struggle with the most. I am a person that has high anxiety. I have to very much ground myself, calm myself, use all the tools in my toolbox to be present and not just all up here in my head. So this was very much a test for me, and trusting and letting go of what I think that is best for our life and for my husband, and just honestly seeing what unfolds, what Spirit has for us. So it's very scary, but at the same time, it's very beautiful to let go and let flow. So, but anyways, guys, I hope this video helped you if you're dealing with the same things, or not even just like a job loss. It can be anything, relationships, people coming in and out of your life. Maybe there was a certain idea that you thought you wanted in your life, maybe a career path, or that it just didn't work out. And honestly, you have to see it as a blessing in disguise, because it's really what it is. It's opportunities in the right direction. It's a new chapter opening up for you, for your evolution. And do not sit in that victim mindset. That is what will keep you stuck. And your test, per se, if you want to call it a test of the universe, you'll just keep repeating it. So you just move with it and just trust, surrender, let go, let flow, let God. So anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it helped you guys out, and I will catch you in the next one. I'll see ya. I'm sending you all of my light and all of my love.